welcome. I am, of course, Allison Marshall from Wonderlast.com. And can I just start off by saying that I am insanely excited that you are here, because not only are we going to be planning out 2018, which in and of itself is exciting, because I don't know about you, but I get really excited when I am planning out a fresh new year. But we are going to be planning out 2018 so that it is truly a breakthrough year for you and your business. We're not just going to be planning some boring run-of-the-mill standard year. We're going to be planning a breakthrough year. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing over the next 5 days, over the next 5 lessons. So without any further ado, we're going to jump right in, because I hate beating around the bush and I hate wasting time. But before we jump in, 2 very important things. 1, make sure that you're wearing comfy clothes. Get comfortable. I might look very put together, from here on up, but I promise you I've got a pair of baggy sweatpants on and some crazy socks. And thing number 2 is to grab your favorite beverage. I am a huge fan of having like a drink that just helps boost your enjoyment of learning, whether that's water or tea or coffee or a glass of wine, whatevs. Get comfortable and get ready to plan your breakthrough year. Oh, and I get very excited. That's thing number 3. So I apologize in advance. You're probably going to be like, Allison, calm down. I'm sorry, I can't. Planning is exciting. Okay, so let's dive in. So welcome to the Business Breakthrough, where we are going to plan out your most profitable business year yet. And today we are going to discover what you really want, so that you can go out and get it. This is the foundation of being able to plan out your 2018. So, what do you want? Might sound obvious, but you're always going to feel lost and confused and unfocused if you're not crystal clear about what you actually want. And you're almost never going to get what you want if you're not intentional about it, because you can't create a plan for getting what you want if you don't even know what you want. That's the problem a lot of people have, is that they'll plan out things, but yet they're not really clear on what it is they actually want, and so they're just doing things, and then they're never really content or arriving somewhere that they're happy with, because they didn't take the time to get clarity in the first place. So this lesson is all about clarity. But because this question can also be a little bit loaded, like, what do you want? You might be like, I don't know. We're going to break it down with several other questions. And you've got a workbook underneath this video, and it's got all the questions that we're going to be going through in this video lesson. So go ahead and download it by clicking on the pink button. You can either print it off if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, or you can just open it on your computer and fill it out digitally. You can watch this video first and then fill out the workbook, or you could fill out the workbook at the same time as watching the video by just pausing and playing, pausing and playing. Now, a little side note for downloading the workbook: if you are on a phone, sometimes phones are a little finicky. So if you're having issues downloading the workbook from your phone, try it on a laptop or a desktop. When you click on the pink button, the workbook's automatically just going to start downloading to wherever you have your downloads set to go on your device. Okay, so quick little side note, grab your notebook, because we are going to be answering some questions to get you ultimate clarity, starting with, what do you not want in your business? Like, what are you sick of in your business? What do you want to get rid of? What do you want to stop doing? Think about activities and tasks that made you feel really drained this year, or things that you had to do that gave you that icky feeling of dread. For example, maybe you don't want to be stuck answering emails all day, or maybe you don't want to work 12-hour days, or maybe you don't want to work on weekends, or maybe you don't want to wake up every morning feeling completely scatterbrained and unfocused. So think about what this past year you don't want to repeat in 2018, what you want to stop. And if you haven't started your business yet, if this is the very beginning of the road for you and you are planning on launching in 2018, very exciting by the way, then think about things just maybe in your current job and or life in general that you don't want to repeat. There's always things that happen in the weeks and the months that you're like, I don't really want to do this again. So try to write down as many things as possible when it comes to what you don't want to happen. When you are done, I want you to think about what would your days look like if you didn't have to deal with all of the pesky little things that you just listed. Maybe you would wake up feeling focused. Maybe you'd only have to work 4 hours a day and maybe you'd have more time to spend with your family and friends. Maybe you would take weekends off, or heck, maybe you'd even take 3-day weekends. Maybe you could be location independent and do more traveling. Maybe you wouldn't have to deal with the tech stuff anymore because you are going to hand it off, or maybe you wouldn't have to answer emails all day. So look at the things that you wrote down that you don't want to repeat and really envision with your creative brain juices what your days would look like if those were gone. Write them down. Next, what specific things, notice specific is underlined, what specific things didn't work well in your business this past year and why? So maybe your current work schedule is cramping your style. That's specific, but also think about why. Don't just write down what didn't work well that you tried, but try and come up with, well, why didn't it work well? If you wrote down your current work schedule is cramping your style, well, the why might be because you felt totally overwhelmed at your 12-hour day work schedule. Or maybe you felt very burnt out and uninspired. Whatever it is, you had no free time. So write down what specific things you did this past year that didn't work and why. Maybe your freebie to get people onto your email list didn't work out so well. Well, don't just write that down. Try and think about why. Maybe it's because you didn't really validate your idea first to see if it was something that people actually wanted. Maybe you did a webinar, but no one really showed up. Well, why? Did you not promote it very much? Who did you promote it to? So really think about why. Maybe you did a promotion that tanked. Try and pinpoint some reasons. Or maybe you skipped creating a plan for your business and you just winged it and it didn't work out very well. Maybe you did something that kind of put you in the red a little bit. So try to think about the specific things you did in your business and why. Write them down because you do not want to repeat those things. If you want different results, then you're ultimately going to need to do something different. Okay, so once you're done getting out all the things that didn't work very well, now it's time to think about the specific things that did work really well in your business. And I want you to think about both in terms of mentally and financially. So what I mean by mentally, because your mental health is so important, is what types of activities and tasks did you enjoy doing the most in your business? Like what made you feel mentally clear and excited? What activities made you feel energized? Were there certain workspaces that maybe you felt inspired and focused? Like maybe you went to a coffee shop and you found yourself feeling really excited or inspired, or maybe you took a vacation and worked somewhere new and that worked really well. What mentally worked out really well? Were there certain times of the day that you noticed you felt the most creative and the most fresh? So maybe you were working a lot in the mornings, but you noticed that occasionally when you got to work in the evenings, you felt your most energized and inspired. So think about the things that worked well in terms of making you feel good. And you can also write down things that don't necessarily have to do with business. Like maybe you started meditating in the mornings and that made you feel really, clear and focused and grounded. Or maybe you started working out more, like 5 days a week, and that felt really good. Or maybe you just started taking an afternoon walk or taking breaks every hour. So think about all the specific things that worked really well mentally, and then think about financially in your business. So were there any specific activities that gave you the most growth? Like maybe you launched a product that did really well, or maybe you ran a certain type of promotion that did really well, or maybe you just sent like a particular email to your list and that email generated a lot of profit. Or maybe you did certain activities to grow your audience that worked really well. Like maybe you started doing webinars and that worked really well. Or maybe you started doing Facebook Lives and that worked really well. So think about the specific things that worked well in terms of growth in your business, growing your audience, and of course, growing your income. Write them all down. And now, what would a massive breakthrough in your business look like? What would you accomplish if you knew you couldn't fail? And I don't want you to limit yourself or get in your head here and start thinking about how you don't think you can make it happen. Just pretend like it has already happened. 100% you can't fail. You're not thinking about the how because it's already happened. It is done. What would a breakthrough look like in your business? And this is different for everyone. A breakthrough for one person might look entirely different than someone else. So the point here is that what does it look like for you? For example, maybe a business breakthrough looks like that you launched a course and you hit 6 figures by the end of the year. Or maybe it looks like you created a business that generates $10,000 a month in passive income. Or maybe a breakthrough would look like you wrote and published a book and you sold 10,000 copies. Or maybe a breakthrough would simply look like you went full-time in your business. You went from part-time to full-time. So really just sit down and have fun with this one. What would a breakthrough look like without thinking about the how, because it has already happened. And when you write down your breakthrough should not only excite you, but it should scare you just a little bit. If you are not feeling a little uneasy and a little scared looking at what you wrote down for your breakthrough, then your breakthrough isn't big enough. So make sure that looking at your breakthrough makes you both a little scared and very, very excited. Once you've done that, pick a financial goal for the year. Again, don't think about the how, just pick a number that for you would be a breakthrough year. And again, it should scare you just a little bit. You don't want to, pick something that's too low. We're shooting big here. We're shooting for a breakthrough. So if you're like, oh, I know I could hit $1,000 a month and you choose that, that's not big enough. So pick a number that scares you just a little bit for the year. Write it down. Give it a good hard look. Let it set in a little bit. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick out 3 different financial goals for the year. And this is actually something that I learned from my mentor, James Wedmore, and it has been a huge help. I did this for 2016 because before 2016, I was just picking one financial goal for the year, and that's better than nothing. But the problem with just picking one goal for the year is that if you don't make that goal, you feel like utter crap. And so what he does is he picks 3. He picks one that he calls it the wimpy goal, and then he picks a middle of the road goal, and then he picks a very, very big goal. That would be like the, whoa, I can't believe this just happened goal. So pick 3 goals. For example, maybe 50,000 is the absolute bare minimum that you want to make in the coming year. That's like, gotta hit this goal. And then maybe 6 figures is that goal you're kind of really truly going for. But then your big goal that would be amazing if you hit out of the park would be 150,000. So again, these are just examples. Your numbers can be whatever you want. They might be smaller, they might be a ton bigger, but pick 3, a smallish one, a medium-ish one, and a largish one that would just be like, whoa, if it happened. And of course, what is your why? Otherwise, those numbers you just wrote down are just numbers. And let me tell you, they are not gonna motivate you on the days where you don't feel like working, you're feeling uninspired, or you're not feeling motivated, or maybe things just aren't going well, or things are scary and things are hard and you just want to curl up in a ball on the couch and watch Netflix all day. A number isn't going to cut it. You have got to put a why behind it. So be really honest and think about what is motivating you right now. So for me, of course, one of my biggest whys for my business is that, yes, I do want to help as many people as possible start and grow online businesses because I want people to have a job that they love. I want them to experience waking up in the morning, being really freaking excited about the work they're going to do that day. I want them to love work. I want them to feel like it's just fun and play, and I want people to use their unique gifts and talents. That is a big why for me. But one of my other whys right now that is motivating me right now is that I want to buy my first house. And I don't just want to buy my first house. I want to buy my dream house. I want to have my own office, and I know what it's going to look like in my mind. So be honest about your whys and what is going to motivate you right now. Maybe it's buying your first house like me, or maybe it's buying a car. Maybe it is retiring your partner. Maybe it's being able to travel more. Whatever it is for you, write it down. And if you want to take it to the next level, I highly recommend creating an old-fashioned vision board. And I'm not just talking about pinning digitally on something like Pinterest. That is not enough. I mean a good old-fashioned, tangible vision board that you can actually hang in your workspace. This is a photo of one of my vision boards that is literally hanging right by my desk. So on the days where I don't feel inspired or motivated and I don't want to work, I just glance on over to the right and I instantly see why I need to show up that day. Why am I working hard and putting in some time? What am I going towards? And so I highly recommend this because A, it's super motivating, it keeps you focused, but it's also super fun. So you can just go on to sites like Pinterest or just anywhere online and grab images that communicate your why. You don't have to worry about like copyright because you're not posting these online, you're not printing them and selling them, you're only printing them for your personal use. So I just grabbed all of these images from places, printed them off for my personal use only on my vision board. So I highly recommend this. Super fun, super helpful. It is a great kick in the pants all year long. And I also like to include words on mine that I kind of want to try and embody that year. So I wrote down trust, because sometimes I'm a type A and I like to have everything planned out and I need to know what is happening and when. And so I need to do more trusting. And I also wrote down be visible because that's one of the things I wanted to focus on. So here's my vision board. I highly recommend you creating a vision board because they are fantastic. And lastly, what are your oh hells no's? These are the specific things that you will not do in order to reach your goals for your mental and physical health. It is so important to set boundaries for your mental and physical health as well as for your overall sense of well-being. And this is something that I ignored in the beginning years. And I paid the price. In the beginning, I wasn't setting any type of boundaries. I was working 12+ hour days. I was working weekends. I was turning down friends and family all the time. I was skipping my workouts so that I could work extra. I wasn't taking care of my body. I was eating crap, and guess what? I felt like crap. I was burnt out. I was out of shape. I wasn't happy because I wasn't taking care of myself and giving myself enough time off. So you have to set these specific boundaries and you have to treat them as you would, with just as much importance as you would your other business to-dos. If you are not mentally and physically happy, then you're going to suffer and your business is going to suffer. So these take just as high as priorities. So maybe, for example, you don't want to work weekends, so write that down. Or maybe you're not willing to work evenings. That is a big one for me. I do not work evenings, so write that down. Or maybe you don't want to work 12-hour days. Or maybe you don't want to do a million webinars. Or maybe you don't want to be one of those businesses that launches every 2 to 3 months. Nothing wrong with that, but maybe that's just not for you. You're like, I don't want to launch every 2 to 3 months. Write it down. Maybe you don't want to do one-on-one work. Write that down. Maybe you have to get exercise every single morning. That's a non-negotiable for you. Write that down. Set your boundaries. Maybe you're gonna start your day with a 5-minute meditation every morning, which I do. It's awesome. Write that down. So some of my non-negotiables this past year have been I won't work past 6 p.m. That's a non-negotiable. My computer goes off at 6. I take weekends off. I answer email 1 to 2 times a week. I always start my day with meditation. I make time for exercise every single day. I don't do one-on-one work, and I am not building my business around the constant launch mode business model. Those are just some of my non-negotiables that I have put into place for this past year. So go ahead, write them down. You're going to want to stick to them. And remember, your physical and mental health just as important as your other business to-dos. Oh, and just one more thing. I want you to remember, get clear on what you want, but let go of how it has to happen. And I know that sounds a little counterintuitive because this business breakthrough is all about planning out your year and creating your strategy and getting your action steps written down, and all of that is so important, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. But in the end, life has a way of sometimes giving us what we didn't expect. And so this is really more just keeping an open mind. I am very, very type A. I like to have everything planned out, all of my action steps and certain goals, and I'm going to reach this by this certain time, and I'm going to be doing this by this time, and I'll have made this amount of money by this time. And what I've learned over the years is you have to stay open, because if you don't, you are probably going to feel very, very crappy if something doesn't happen when you think it should. You're going to get down on yourself, and you're going to feel like crap, and you're going to feel like a failure, and that's not fun, that's not productive, and that's not going to energize you and add to your happiness and all of that good stuff. So while we are going to be creating your plan, and your plan is important, and you're going to follow that plan, you're just ultimately going to stay open and be aware that life can change courses, okay? Don't get down on yourself. Get clear on what you want, but ultimately remember, let go of how it has to happen. That's been the one thing I've really been trying to focus on this year, and it's really been a huge help in me not feeling like crap. Okay, it is time to take action. You've got 3 steps to take. Step number 1, if you haven't done it already, go ahead and download the workbook below, fill out the answers to the questions, get it all done. Step number 2 is I want you to go into the Facebook group that is specifically for Business Breakthrough. It's linked underneath this video. Go into the Business Breakthrough Facebook group and share what a business breakthrough would look like for you. This is all about getting accountable, getting excited, maybe stepping outside of your comfort zone a little bit. There's going to be a prompt in the Facebook group for this. So there's going to be a graphic. Everyone's going to comment underneath it with their business breakthrough. So be sure you're going into the Facebook group and sharing yours. And then step number 3, if you'd like a little bonus points, is to start your vision board. Start getting clear on what types of images represent your why. Get them printed and get them on the wall. Do it now. So how are we feeling? I hope you're feeling excited. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling pumped. Be sure to fill out that workbook. Be sure to pop into the Facebook group, share your business breakthrough, and I am going to see you in the next lesson. Oh yeah.